Welcome back.
Welcome. We got
Um, another
another
green
green text
text.
here.
We tried diving into a bigger story we're planning on doing, and we just
I got the fresh brains for it right
yeah,
now.
that was a struggle. So we're gonna do something a little smaller because that is not happening today. we're gonna
Yeah.
that's a big one. So we're gonna check this out.
This goddamn. This takes place 3 summers ago during a boar hunting trip down in a very rural area of the Ozark South. My main reasoning for sharing this here is that ultimately I don't believe in the paranormal. However, I believe I may have run across something that I couldn't explain, and I want some input. Fair warning, I'm no good at green text. However, I'm not going to assault you with a wall of text. In any case, enough pretense aside. Be back from college and wanting to go out into the woods. Be bored as fuck on a Friday night and decide to head out super early for boar hunting with a buddy of mine, JD. JD is an Eagle Scout, not prone to being spooked very easily, and I have been hunting in places ranging from deep south swamps to Alaska. We pack our shit up and leave his place around 12:30 a.m. After stopping for energy drinks and beef jerky, every hunter's best friends, we end up getting out there at around 2:15 a.m. We'd hunted this area for boar many times in the daylight, seen tons of deer, squirrels, and even baby fawn that fall asleep by the warmth of our car. They fell asleep by the warmth of our car engine once. Basically, a nice place. We pull in off the gravel tract, 40 miles from town and 3 miles from a Odunk gas station slash deer check station. Decide not to fuck about in the woods at night. We'd had a mountain lion walk in our tracks on a previous hunting trip. Roll down windows and try to take a short nap. Instantly, we're hit with a nasty, cloying, sickly sweet odor. I just brush it off. Just some wet deer, haha. Should mean our scent won't travel far in heavy, damp air. JD just looks at me and says, "That smells like death, bro. Like a cow that's been out in the sun too long." I launch into a diatribe about him being a gigantic pussy and how he should deal with it.
In any case, since we don't want either to be mucking about in the woods, home to mountain lions in the dead of night, or be accused of night hunting by all right,
Some faggot ranger.
some faggot ranger.
Yeah!
We decided to go
I
check
love
and
green
see
text.
if the Podunk gas station is open. Surprise, JD's shitty old four-banger won't start. Fine, looks like it's a nap followed by hunting. Well, we wait for some toothless mechanic to come jumpstart his car. All the while, the smell just seems to be seeping in through the vents and the cracks in the windows. It gets to the point where I'm actively retching in the car. Enough's enough. And we decide that if something had gone and died, we'd prefer not to stuck in a not to be stuck in
To
a
be stuck.
gigantic tin can right beside the corpse. We get out of the car parked in the middle of the gravel parking area, surrounded by tall grass on the north side, and the woods on all the others. A swamp was to our direct west, full of boar, deer, and critters. As I'm sitting there, loading up the magazine to my rifle, JD just keeps screaming. The tree line with his eyes. Oh,
Scanning.
scanning. Why is he
Yeah!
screaming? To the Europores and the Northerners hunting in the swamps is close quarters. We hunt boar with semi-automatic rifles in the south. You want a
Man.
quick follow-up shot in case the 400 lb ball of muscle with 8-inch tusks decides to charge you from 25 to 30 yards out. Something got his hackles all up. It's hackles.
It's like, I guess the hairs on the back of your neck or some shit.
Hmm.
It's just like he's bugged. He's freaked out a little bit.
Okay. But I'm feeling fine, so I just dismiss it as faggotry.
Yeah! That's great.
Anyway, suited up, we make our way down to the small footpath, 1 to 2 feet wide, that winds its way down into the swamp. It was almost like shining a flashlight down a mine shaft, where the darkness sort of dissipated the light. I could feel my skin crawl, and something deep in the The hindmost?
And
Hindmost?
most parts of my mind.
In the hens... Bro, you have to read the whole
Hind.
thing.
Yeah.
In the hindmost parts of my mind. Told me just to walk right back to the center. Shut up, bro. I'm clearing and wait for light.
You're struggling. That's fine though. So, we do what any caveman would have done in that situation. We grunted out a few excuses to preserve our manhood and went and sat the fuck down by his car. Like fuck, I'm going to bumble through woods with mountain lion, weed growers, and God knows what else at 3:15. By that point, in the goddamn morning, the mood lightened, and the smell had seemed to recede a bit, so we just busied ourselves, checking our rifles and talking about girls, politics, and history. We're a weird bunch. After a while, the smell started coming back, and we began to voice our concern that something that smelled fucking dead was moving around. As the smell starts growing more and more oppressive, I start hearing branches and twigs break in the undergrowth. Whatever it is, it's moving, and I don't like that one bit. At this point, I'm thinking it's a mountain lion that's all covered in gore from a recent kill that's about to go full territorial mode. That wouldn't have been out of the question, but it wasn't. As I strained to hear where it was, I noticed that the snapping didn't come from the pat 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 of a four-legged animal. It resembled the crunch 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 of a novice hunter picking his way through the undergrowth. My first thought was we either had a ranger with a sick sense of humor, a drug grower with a great sense of humor, or worse, a motherfucking serial killer. Either way, weapons were shouldered, bolts closed on loaded chambers, and lights pointed towards where that sound was. Nothing. It's fucking nothing, just the smell. And a slower, now, crunch crunch. And it stops. The smell is everywhere now, and whoever it is sitting far enough back in the tree line not to be silhouetted by our lights. Smart asshole. No eye shine either, which ruled out just about any animal other than boar, which make enough noise to be easily noticeable.
One again. The caveman brain rears up deep within my psyche and tells me, fire. A fire, you idiot. Build a fire. So, what do we do? JD and I build a fucking fire. Throughout this whole affair, other than a few moments, we've been mostly quiet. However, the fire gives us comfort, and whatever it seems to back off into the forest, if only for a while. As the fire burns hot, we start joking again, having a decent time, convincing ourselves it was only a cougar. That's still bad, isn't it? That's still bad.
That is bad, yeah.
Both instances would be bad, bro.
You get the one fucking, you get the little creature demon guy, and you got like a fucking, I don't know, I feel like a cougar would fuck you up.
Yeah, probably. I'm not even probably. I think it just would.
Yeah.
Where was I? However, there's only so much timber in a gravel clearing, and after a while we'd have to venture out of the firelight to keep the fire going. That time came, and as the fire burned down to the embers, the smell came back more oppressive than before. And with the smell, I can barely fucking read this, bro. Can you zoom this in a little bit?
Right here.
And with the smell came an almost oppressive feeling of fear. Not regular fear, but an intense guttural fear that made your muscles tense, your stomach turn, and your eyes go wide. Every fiber of our being told us to get more wood, to keep the fire high. Only with the fire would we survive the night. So we cautiously walked to the closest tree line, barely able to see from the dying light of the fire. We'd been trying to save our flashlights. I was on guard duty, as we figured that my... was that set me? Set me?
I think so.
Is this what it's supposed to say? Oh no, set me. Okay. 308 semi-automatic. Could be a better standoff weapon than JD's small carbine. I'm tacticaling the fuck.
Tacticaling the fuck out at this point.
What does that even mean? Like
He's fucking.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's like tactically like.
I'm
the fuck out.
Okay. Adrenaline flowing from a profound feeling that something just isn't right. JD leans down into the undergrowth to pick up a stick, reaching into the tree line. He screams and falls backwards while branches break right in front of him. He gets up, freaking out, dusting himself off, saying he saw something staring at him first. Sunken eyes, a thick brown ridge, ashy gray skin. Then it smiled at him. Not so much as smiled, but curled back its lips in a Cheshire grin?
Like, you know the Cheshire cat from Alice in Wonderland? The big fucking
Oh, yeah,
freaky face on it, yeah.
We are at NopeCon 1, gentlemen.
I'm going to ignore the next hour of this hopscotch game of the fire dying, the smell growing more intense, him, as we call it now, drawing nearer, building the fire back up, and him retreating back to stay away from the firelight. However, it should be noted that the entire time he was circling us, probably probing our defenses, seeing if it could find a way to get close to us without being seen. By the time 5 a.m. rolled around, we'd exhausted most all of the dry firewood that wasn't within the tree line, except for the tall grass on the northeast side of the road. We of course do what we have to and slowly pick our way over the tall grass. By this point, I have taped a flashlight to my rifle and switch it on as we leave the fire to get some dry grass. As JD is filling his hand with tinder, I check my right hand side and look down the road. I wish I hadn't. Just as I swing my flashlight over the road, I see him for the first time. It's grayish black, with either sloughing skin or matted gray fur. I honestly couldn't tell. It crossed the 10-yard wide track, which seemed like an instant. Hunched over, maybe 5 to 6 feet tall, moving like a gorilla does. It's over. Something in my head just starts screaming, it's over. It knows you've seen it. It's not just being territorial. It's circling like a predator. It is a predator. That feeling hadn't been one of fear, but of impending predation. Somehow, the lower parts of our subconscious had known what was going on long before we did. In any case, we ran back to the fire, popped the dry grass on top of it, and waited for the smell to recede. It didn't. It was close, very close, and this time it wasn't moving. So we pushed out and got in the trunk of JD's car and listened as it passed behind the front of his car back into the trees.
In a burst of brilliance, I decided that we either make the 3-mile run through dark countryside to the gas station and pray the lights are on, or we build a fire big enough that one of the farmers or someone driving in the main road can see it. We ended up deciding that sprinting 3 miles through dark countryside, guns on our back, could the worst... Oh my god.
Could at
the worst get us devoured by him or shot by a terrified farmer. So we do the next best thing. I pull a fucking small tree out of the ground. I'm not talking about a bush. I'm talking a small 8 to 9 foot tree. What are you, fucking King Kong? Like what?
Yeah.
It's amazing what adrenaline can do for you. So much adrenaline where your facial muscles are drawn tight and your eyes dilate to being nearly black. JD's description of my face.
Damn.
In any case, the fire burns bright, very bright, after a while, and he retreats further into the woods. This fucking tree burned a long-ass time. Okay, was the tree dead?
Because I was thinking, like,
how you...
if it's not a dead tree, it's not going to be burning for very, like, it's not going to burn.
Yeah, it's not going to burn.
Alive.
And how the hell did he pull it out of the ground? If it has roots,
It's probably a dead tree. That's probably why it's burning.
Okay. Eventually, maybe 30 minutes after throwing the tree on the fire, 3 lifted trucks. I got it, bro. I got it. 3 lifted trucks come barreling down the road and fly into the gravel parking area. The first truck had an obscene amount of those off-road lights on the bull bar and roof, which lit up the whole glade like a fucking sun. The smell almost goes away entirely. Still, there, but almost... Oh, I know exactly what monster this is now. Imperceptible.
Yeah.
No one gets out of the first truck. A man wearing a National Guard t-shirt and a AQ pants hops... AQ? ACU?
ACU.
ACU?
American Combat Unit.
Oh, okay, yeah. pants, hops out of the second truck with his hand on his hip, concealed pistol. He questions us for about 10 minutes, makes us disarm, clear our chambers, and set our rifles in JD's car. He tells us there's a burn ban, we shouldn't be out here fucking around, etc. We explain our car died when we came out hunting, and made that as a signal fire. He just looks at us, strangely, at the word hunting. Walks back to the truck number 1, comes back. Tells us not to come back there unless we have all of our ducks in a row.
Huh. Truck 3 drives over and a man hops out to jumpstart our car. I shake his hand and thank him profusely. He gives me a worried but sympathetic look. He doesn't say much but walks back to his truck and drives away. Truck 2 drives away shortly thereafter. Once we've got all our shit packed up, Truck 1's window rolls down and a rather fat man in a polo calls me and JD over. There's no boar here, boys. If you're hunting for boar, you best be looking further on down the road. At least on the other end of Country Redacted. Bullshit. Tons of boar in there. But I don't say that. I'm not going to mouth off to the hillbilly militia that just saved my life. So I thank him for his advice. JD and I get back in his car, debating whether he had gone away with all the commotion. Just as soon as Fatty McLightbar had pulled out, the smell returned yet again. Nope. We're out. Hop on the gravel road, drive to the highway, drive past a few farms, and make our way towards the western border of Country Redacted. We notice we're being followed by a small white Honda. Guess who's sitting in the front seats? Fatty McLightbar and Hillbilly Militia Man. They follow us all the way out of that country, then turn around. So, ends my experience. It's hard to get green text to express emotion, the exact description of the smell, or the fucking primal fear we felt. I wrote an after-action report of sorts the morning after that hunt, but haven't been able to find it after I moved, hence the green text. In any case, I've debated going back with more than 2 people to hunt him, but I'd like to know what exactly I was dealing with. This, of course, not touching the fact that Hillbilly Militia Patrol seemed to know more than they were letting on. It was alright.
Do you? Yeah, it was okay. Do you know what? Do you know what it was?
Assuming it was, well, it was like most of the other stuff in all these stories, like skinwalkers or wendigos.
No,
smell.
It was a skunk ape.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. I've heard about that.
It's a skunk ape.
Skunk ape. Aren't those real?
No, it's a legend, and I don't know if it's in China
Australia?
or it's somewhere, but I've heard of it
thought it was
before.
Australia.
It might be Australia, but that's definitely a skunk ape.
Everglades, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not.
Yeah, no, it's the States, Florida, I think. Maybe?
Okay. Fuck.
Yeah, it's a skunk ape.
It's just Bigfoot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, that's cool.
Skunk ape.
Definitely a skunk ape though.
Yeah. That makes sense.
He described like the
Sick.
description of like the monkey, like.
Yeah.
I didn't get it right then, but then he mentioned the smell again, and it came to me. It was the skunk
Yeah,
ape.
it makes sense. That's fucking cool.
All right, well, that's all we're gonna do for today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we're gonna maybe start this big one we're thinking about doing, but we're not sure yet. We might end up doing some more small ones or some other cool stuff we find, but we'll see what happens.
We will see.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.